Welcome to my build for Planet Sims Bowling. I've used this build in Newcrest and I tried to use quite a large lot, so I've used the 50 by 40 lot. So today we are building something that's quite retro and something that reminds me of my childhood. This is a place I used to go to with my dad. It's called Planet Kids back in the 90s. But this build will be called Planet Sims Bowling. And the original Planet Kids that my dad used to take me to was like this big warehouse that had lots of like things in it. So it had like a kids soft play area. It also had bowling. It had like a fast food court. It had arcade games, and it also had like a mini golf area as well. Which unfortunately we don't have mini golf in Sims, which would be quite a cool idea actually. I think that would be quite a cool, fun place for Sims to go, but I had to improvise, so I used a roller rink instead because I remember my dad also taking me to roller rinks when I was a kid as well. So I've included that. So yeah, just getting ahead on this build. I've created this really big warehouse style, just single story build, and I've added in a few sort of the bowling alleys from the bowling. I think it was a stuff pack that we had, and this is quite fun. I don't often do the bowling. I think it's quite just a fun activity that I just forget that we can do in The Sims. I definitely wanted to create it in this build. So yeah, just placing a few items down just so I can get a bit of a lay of like the land and the size of the areas that I wanted to use. I knew I wanted the bowling area at the back of the build, and then I wanted to place in the roller rink as well because those are like really big items because I wanted to use the extra large roller rink because I just wanted to be able to have Sims have a really nice big space for it. But I had to like size up the walls a bit so it'd fit in because it's quite tall. But that was fine because this was single story, so I didn't have to worry about another level that I was working on. But yeah, I found that, and that one's from Seasons expansion pack actually. So got that added in, and then I was just looking for like a fast foody kind of style. So I went for the like American build from the American food hut that's from, I think it's from City Living. So yeah, just place that in because I knew I just wanted, might as well have that in the back corner. And then just trying to like zone the area out a little bit. I remember like the original Planet Kids had these like areas where things were. So an area for the kids stuff, area for the bowling things. And I remember like lots of steps and platforms that were separating the area. So I was keen to use platforms in this build. It's quite fun to work with platforms, but I just don't really work with them a lot. Really, I find them quite tricky sometimes. Like as you can see here, it's deleted my walls, which is a bit frustrating. But you can add them in again quite quickly, so it wasn't too bad. But I was really like struggling to like extend this part here, so I had to like try a few different options and different ways of doing it. Finally, found a workaround where I just extended it with another piece of platform, which um, made like my building come out a little bit more. But that I wasn't mad at that. I think that was actually worked out a bit better because otherwise it is just a massive rectangle building. So it's not a particularly pretty building to look at from the outside. Although I tried my best and kind of to make it a little bit interesting. But yeah, so jumping on to sort of placing some toilets in, and then creating these little half walls. Again, like as much as there were like different platforms, I remember from the original Planet Kids that we used to go to, there was like these small short walls that like again added extra zoning. So I was just kind of positioning some of these spaces really. I was thinking about using fences to do this job between the bowling area and the food court, but there wasn't really any fences that were particularly I was looking for. I was looking for like the very like pine kind of color woods. Because I remember like these were really popular in the 90s. It's like yellow, really yellowy kind of wood. But there was nothing really in the fences that was doing that job. I even tried a white fence, but yeah, it didn't really work particularly well. So I decided just to go with the half walls again until I could find something a little bit different potentially to break up that kind of area. But yeah, just kind of placing these small walls across everything. So yeah, and then we've just got just some spaces around this kind of area. It was a bit tricky to get around the platforms, but yeah, if anybody's got any tips around platforms, please let me know. Because again, I just find it really tricky to work with platforms, and it's probably why I don't really use them very often because it just deletes everything all the time. So there weren't really any windows in this build except for these little ones I put in the food court area just to brighten that area up. But this kind of place is a bit like a warehouse, which is a bit like a casino. You don't know whether it's a day or night, whether you come in or leave. Um, so yeah, just didn't want to add any real windows anywhere else, just except for in that food court area. And I looked for some big glass kind of doors and for some fun windows just the either side of the door. And I remember like glass and blocks and things were a thing in the 90s. So actually, it's quite a cool option to have near sort of the main entrance door. And then the loo doors, I'm just kind of putting in the unisex toilets. I think they're just base game ones. I'm not too sure. I can't remember now. Yeah, they're just base game ones. So yeah, just putting those loos in, and then I'm just kind of looking at flooring. And I usually like look in like miscellaneous for flooring if I'm looking for something really different and unique. But nothing was really kind of talking to me at this point. I knew I wanted crazy flooring because I wanted like all these geometric kind of styles and yeah, lots of blues and purples and teal colours. And I found this crazy pattern flooring, which I thought worked really well. And then I was just looking for like a pine floor just to match the roller rink and just sit underneath it, just so that Sims, when they get on and off the roller rink, they've got this area, and then also have the same space, same flooring, sorry, in the food court area. And I think this worked quite well. It just tied in those areas quite nicely. And yeah, I was kind of pretty pleased with the flooring choices, really. Just painting the ceiling, well, not painting the ceiling, but adding the flooring tiles to the ceiling, which I think it's a shame we just don't have paint options. I was just looking for a dark black option, and I just had to go with really dark black wood instead. But it's a shame we just can't use paint, which would be handy in Sim 4. And yeah, just looking for some wallpaper now that'll kind of tie in with the floors. Um, the animal print was a bit too crazy, but just looking for something again that would tie in the floors, but really like geometric sign, so like style. So I found this from base game, and it just had like the blues, the teals, the purple, everything I needed in it, and I actually think it worked quite well. And then I just used some like pull out colors from the wallpaper to zone up some areas, so you didn't have like the wallpaper everywhere, because I think it could be really overpowering, even though this is kind of a, you know, overpowering like wallpaper or flooring. Just needed these sort of quieter areas to break things up a little bit. So yeah, just adding like the sort of pinky purple kind of color, and then the blue for different zone areas. So you've got like the food court in the blue, and like utilities and stuff, and then you've got like the fun areas in like the purpley pink color as well. So just fixing some errors that I made there. And then just putting some trim on the platforms as well that kind of tied in. I couldn't find anything exactly matching. Tried a blue, but I obviously wanted a purple, but I found these quite a lot of colour swatches here for purple, so just adding that in, and just adding some like trims to the top of the half walls that we've got here as well, just to finish those off. And then yeah, just kind of placing some items and just fixing up like my positioning for this bowling area. I just kind of wanted this idea of a like a walk up kind of counter where you get your shoes from and things, and then like some decorative areas for the bowling, just to like make it a little bit more interesting. I know they don't really have that gameplay in Sims, but you know, just want to add that kind of feature. And then yeah, just moving on to the outside, I knew I wanted like a light stone for the outside of the building. In the end, I settled on this stone build wall that we had from, I think it was from high school pack, expansion pack. It just worked quite well. I didn't want it dark. I knew the building was going to be crazy big, so I just didn't want like a really dark wall. But just wanted like also this tarmac kind of roof, and kind of played around with some trims to just see if that made any difference to like the look of the outside of the building. In the end, I just settled on a fence trim that worked quite well across the top. And yeah, so this kind of just went all around the area, and then just kind of trying to fancy up the outside a little bit. Just trying to think about some like areas that we can kind of put on the roof, and trying to add some interest there. Just put some air conditioning units for now. But if you download this build and you've got some ideas to kind of change this up, yeah, go ahead. I mean, you could potentially add another level and do like a proper cinema. So it can be like a whole complex kind of thing with a cinema, bowling, and arcade, and food court, and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, you could extend this out and make it a little bit more interesting. Sort of this top section, just having those few different like levels as well, might break this up quite a bit. But yeah, here I'm just kind of looking for some decorative items, and I found these billboards that worked quite well. One's got like a little kid on it, and I thought that worked quite nicely to advertise the building and what's inside the building. And yeah, just kind of did a little bit of landscaping as well, just adding in some trees just to make it a little bit more interesting. And yeah, just putting in some signs as well for the bowling. I don't know if anybody else is finding this at the moment, but the terrain painting keeps deleting itself, so I don't know if it'll actually stay in the game when I upload it to the gallery, but I did have some terrain paint for sort of the outside areas, so hopefully it's still there when you download. If not, I think it's just a bit of a bug in Sims 4 from a recent update, because it always used to be fine, but now it seems to be a bit of a issue. So yeah, hopefully it's still there. I'm just looking for a few sort of outdoor items really, but I kind of didn't like this flag in the end, so just deleted that. And now what I'm just doing is just improving some of the lighting areas and just cracking on with some of the inside decor. Just trying to find that baby changing unit that we had, and I couldn't remember where it actually sits within the bathroom items. So just cracked on with the sinks for now until I found it. Eventually I did find it. It was actually under uh, growing together. I had to do a filter on the pack instead of just looking it through the sort of build items for the bathroom. But yeah, I found it in the end, which was pretty cool. But yeah, just wanted a really simple bathroom, just sort of plain kind of white colours with these subway tiles and a couple of mirrors. And then I found from Get to Work like the exit signs and like the hand sanitizers and like things like hand towel sort of, what do you call them, like receptacle things. So I was like, yeah, this would work quite nicely in this style kind of bathroom. So just put a few of those things in, and the exit signs, which had to have them everywhere then. Well, everywhere I had a door anyway. But yeah, this is where I find the baby changing um, wall piece that we had. So yeah, glad I found that. And then yeah, just working now on the food court party area. So I used the party essentials kit pack that we had a little while back. I haven't used this in a while, so I had to like remind myself what was actually in this pack. But I was really keen to have like in the food court like a party area. Remember like back in the day, you used to have McDonald's parties. You don't really have them anymore, but just kind of wanted that kind of vibe here as well. So used a lot of like the decor in the food court with this pack with these neons. I thought these were really cool. And then the spaceship was like, yes, that is perfect for this pack, being Planet Sims. And yeah, just adding some clutter items to the party table. I know these items aren't really playable, but they kind of stop Sims just putting plates everywhere. But definitely want to keep like the cake stand. I thought that was pretty cool. And yeah, just going through some of these like streamers and like wall decorations that we have with this kit pack, just to kind of reacquaint myself really with like some of it. But a few, I tried to place a few down, but wasn't too keen on it. And then wanted to make sure I had like a dance floor and a disco ball and some of these cool lights, that all came with this kit as well. And then I found the balloons. I was like, yes, this is the colours I wanted, nice and bright and colourful background, so it was quite playful and fun. So yeah, just kind of changed my mind on those starback drops and just kind of tried to tweak these balloons so that I could have like a couple of them together. In the end, I had to settle for two, and then I found these streamers that went behind them, so adding those in that worked quite well. I mean, some of them didn't quite match up, but actually, when you've got like a whole wall of them, it didn't feel like it really matters. Then yeah, having a cool party sign with more balloons and smoke machine, and yeah, just kind of using as much as I could from this pack really, and anything I can kind of make it look a bit fun. So yeah, food court is done. Added in a tea and coffee area and a boba tea as well. and some sort of trestle tables. So that was quite a quick build. And then yeah, moved on to this kids area, which I knew obviously I wanted like a climbing frame kind of thing, but I only had like this toddler one, but it worked really well with the color scheme as well. And I know kids can play with some of the other items I'm going to put in, so I wasn't too bothered just having this for toddlers. And then I was just making like this cinema area, because I remember the original Planet Kids that my dad used to take me to used to have like a little bit of like a TV area that used to play Disney movies on. So I wanted to add this kind of fun area with some cushions for Sims to sit on and watch a movie while, you know, other Sims are bowling or having food court and whatever. And then yeah, for you, the decorative items that I have on that wall were from Get Famous, which is the big Sims like stage items for the sort of kids. I think it's like a kids TV show thing that Sims can use in Get Famous. So they're from that. So it actually worked particularly well in this build because obviously the big tall walls. I think I had to size one down, but that wasn't too bad. And then yeah, now just working on this arcade area, just using these arcade games that we had from, I think it was Get Together. Just used two of them in different colorways to kind of be like two different types of games, and I think like up to 4 Sims can play on these, so they're good little multiplayer games. And yeah, I was just looking for like some music stuff and other sort of recreational indoor games things that Sims can use. I was really looking for that VR headset immersive game that we had, and I couldn't remember where that was. I couldn't remember if it was like part of like Get Together or something. So I was kind of looking for that. But in the meantime, I found like the basketball rink and some like decorative items as well on route, and yeah, like some sort of indoor games for kids, like the llama table. Found some dartboards as well. Moved my photo booth then into more of the arcade area, which is a bit more fun. And this is a bit more grown up over there, so kind of put those dartboards in the corner. And then yeah, just finding a few extra sort of kids items really. Found the table tennis as well, perfect addition to an arcade area. And then yeah, I did find the VR immersive game that Sims absolutely adore, so added that in as well. And then some like these building block areas and some like kids card game tables. I think you can do puzzles as well on this table if I remember rightly. But yeah, try and use some like bright colors that tie in with that bowling area as well. But yeah, I was pretty happy. In the final build, I also add in like a toy box and some large stuffies around, which in gameplay, like this actual Sims adults end up beating them up. So it's quite cool. And then yeah, just kind of happy with the layout really of everything. So adding in a few sort of more decorative items. Found these lights that I think you unlock in the astronaut career path, but worked perfectly for this build. So made sure there was quite a lot of them through sort of the arcade area, and then used the lights that were from the bowling stuff pack and just sized them up and sized them down where I felt like they were needed for extra sort of interest lighting, as well as brighten up certain areas. Because I take the big saucer lights out, I just kind of needed them in for the initial build to just brighten up everything. But yeah, so yeah, just deleting a few of those now, and yeah, just looking for a few more decorative items for around the roller rink area because it was pretty bland. Oh, and I love these swords from Get Famous. I think they work perfectly. It just framed my doorway nicely. But yeah, just looking for a few sort of items I can use the wall. Some more neon lights for the like food court area, just to advertise that a little bit more. I think I found the boba tea, bubble tea signs, and just put the bowling signs up. Found the decal for the basketball, which is kind of cool. And then yeah, just looking around for a few sort of decorative items that I can put on some of these plainer walls just to give it a bit more interesting. And then I had the idea of like graffiti, and then there's this like Banksy style one. I was like, that's kind of cool. But it didn't really like suit the build, so just found these, and I think they're from Business and Hobbies. Yeah, they are from Business and Hobbies. So just placed a few different ones across the wall just to give them a bit of brightness, and just sized some up and down depending on like the area that they were in, and then put some lights above just to make them look a little bit like they are a bit neon vibe. So yeah, just added those in as well. And I think that just really like brightened the area up and just made it look a little bit more interesting as well. So yeah, pretty happy with the outcome of those things. And then I just remember like there was loads of seating in Planet Kids for adults to kind of sit around and read newspapers and things. So looked for some benches and things that I could pop around. You know, the idea of Sims could sit down and take their roller skates off, even though they take them off as they come off the roller rink. But anywho, it just adds to the build, adds to the effect. And here we are. So here's our final build, and we'll just go ahead and walk through. It's a rainy day here, so perfect for indoor games and bowling. So yeah, here we go. Here's our arcade area with our solar system lights and our bowling lights up. And then we've got our roller skating rink over in the corner there. And then we've got more of our arcade and our kids' games over there. And then, yeah, let's get into it and move in. So yeah, just walking through, we've got a nice photo booth and we've got our other arcade games. I found the planters actually worked really well along the bowling area, just to enclose it a little bit more. So really happy with those. And then changed up some of the colours for the shoes and then put the bowling clock on the wall as well. And I think you can use it as a bar, so that'd be quite cool if you hire a sim to be on the bar for you. And then here are our separate little bowling areas. So we've got like bowling caddies and seats as well, and just threw in this sort of little area where Sims can sit and chill. And then because I had to make this a park, I've used the chessboard over there as well. There wasn't any other lot variations at the time of building this, so I had to put it as a park. So yeah, change it if you want to. And then yeah, so these are like the bowling areas with like the trophies up and some of like the sideboards that you get from the bowling pack as well. So yeah, really pleased with how this area kind of turned out. It really has a like fun bowling vibes. And then yeah, if we come across, we've got our cinema area with our like beanbag cushions for Sims to sit on and watch movies or TV or whatever Sims want to do. And then yeah, coming through to the kids area, so you've got the llama table and the card and puzzle tables as well as the building blocks. And we've got Doll's House and the large stuffies dotted around the edges, so Sims can kind of play with those. And yeah, it seems to be the adult Sims seems to be very attracted to those for some reason rather than the kids, but here. And then yeah, this is our sort of VR headset gamer, and then going over to the toilets. Simple, useful, and I really like those cubicles. I use them in quite a lot of my builds. But yeah, you've got a baby changing unit on the wall as well. Sorry. And we've got some mirrors as well. So nice and bright and just clean. But yeah, let's walk on over to our roller rink area so we can kind of see that. We've got like this fun photo opportunity as well for like, looks like Space Invaders. So hopefully that would be pretty cool for Sims. We've got a basketball net as well, so hopefully like Sims can play with that as well. I've play tested most of this and it all really does work, so hopefully you shouldn't have any problems when you download it from the gallery. But yeah, if you do, feel free to tweak if you need to, but yeah, everything's been tested, so it should be fine. You can change the lighting and the stencils and music in the roller rink as well, so that'll be cool. Yeah, a few darts for Sims to play darts and some seating areas, and I popped in these planters as well across, and some bins and things just to add a little bit more sort of visual interest. It's quite a big space, so you kind of need a lot of sort of decor items to help. And here's our food court. So there's our bubble tea, which is from high school, I think. And then we've got our seating area with our sort of little ketchups and things. And then we've got our party area, which I put some confetti on the floor because I was like, it needed a little more fun. But yeah, we've got our disco ball and we've got our little trestle table with party items. And then we've got our fast food and our tea area. And you can get coffee as well. And put these planters in as well, and just made it a little bit more fun and bright and colourful. But yeah, we've got our other sort of toilets on this side as well, next to the food court. Again, very, very similar to the other toilets, using the sort of same style and items that you saw in the other toilets. But yeah, this is our Planet Sims bowling build, and I really hope you enjoy it and you have good fun with your Sims. It's up on the gallery to download. If you type in Sims Planet Sims bowling build, you'll find it. Thanks for watching.